Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including RWBY, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Andy Potter.
Hey there.
And Steve Zach.
Hi.
Today, Andy, Steve, and I will be discussing the latest episode of RWBY of Chapter 3 of Volume 5, Unforeseen Complications. I don't know about that title, but they tried. Okay, so we'll get into this episode. Title doesn't matter. It's a title. Whatever. Who cares about titles? So yeah, we talk about RWBY every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com or subscribe to us on either YouTube or iTunes. iTunes by searching Overly Animated RWBY. To not miss any of our RWBY recaps going forward, we recap the episodes the weekend of the first release, so you got to get your RWBY reactions fill in. We're the go-to resource for that. So make sure you check us out. overlyanimated.com.
Yeah, we're also the only ones that podcast the episodes after they come out. We're not a week behind like some other podcasts.
Yeah, that's what Steve's told me. So we're trying to emphasize that more.
I won't mention the name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. Probably the only other RWBY podcast. I don't know. But yeah, so we're talking Unforeseen Circumstances spoilers for this episode and all of the previous ones, 3 into Volume 5 here. So let's get into things. Andy, what are your initial thoughts on Unforeseen Complications? Not circumstances, but either one's bad. Anyway.
I think, well, first off, I'm not horribly angry after watching this episode, so that's an improvement. This episode's okay. It's fine. There was some actual progression in the plot, but I'm kind of upset because it seems like we're not going to get a RWBY reunion in the next couple episodes.
No, that's definitely not. No way. No.
Yeah, which is what I kind of thought like last episode. That's what I was thinking. And now it's like, no way are we getting it till like, it seems like the reunion's going to happen at Haven. Like when the attack happens. Like they gave us a deadline. That's when all the team are going to be there. And that's when it's going to be. And I'm kind of like, so the season finale is going to be when they get together. Other than that, it was okay. We got some backstory into Ozpin that we kind of already knew, and we got more White Fang stuff, but we didn't really get into any more gray morality like we did last episode, unfortunately.
Yeah. Previously on the podcast, in case you missed it last week, we were really upset about the Atom scene. So, that's the context, for this.
Yeah, that's the context.
Yeah. I don't think it's set in stone that we're reuniting at Haven instead of, with Raven's, clan. I still think that's in play, but either way, it's gonna take several episodes.
I think either's in play, but that's what personally I think is gonna happen. That's all.
Not a bad bet. But yeah, I think that the takeaway in terms of the RWBY reunion is it's not soon. We slowed things down here. Yeah. Okay. Steve, what do you think of this episode?
I agree with Andy. It's okay episode. We got some plot progression, but nothing really earth-shattering happened. I did admit though, I was a little scared for a moment though when that bandit mentioned Weiss being out of the loop about Winter. I thought for a moment, like, oh no, don't tell me she's gonna tell her that Winter died or something. I was like scared for a moment there, but other than that, nothing earth-shattering. We found out some stuff about Ozpin, and I do got a theory regarding that. Which
it's about Ozpin. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's sort of Ozpin and Salem.
Okay. Steve's been talking up this theory, so we'll see when we get to that part. You're not the only one I've seen say that they're worried Winter would be dead during that scene.
Well, at the very least, even if she wasn't, maybe those bandits would just be mean enough just to say that, just to get Weiss upset.
Yeah. They're laughing like, you don't know? And it's just like, oh, Winter left? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If Winter was dead, this would be a very different podcast.
Yeah, well, let's kill Winter off screen. They're at least they didn't do that. Okay, good. But
well, yeah. If they announced she was dead off screen, I'd probably be that people would think she's dead, but she's alive. I don't.
Yeah, we might have done that. Yeah. So you guys both think the episode's okay, but not too exciting.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Like, there's no fight, there's no crazy stuff happening. But I mean, it was solid, I guess, which is pretty impressive for RWBY sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think compared to last week, ups and downs. This week is very steady. There's nothing terrible happening. Here's my hot take. I much prefer last week's type of episode to this week's episode. This week to me is just super boring, and I'm very unexcited at almost everything happening here. I really would prefer to be outraged or like praising the show rather than just coming on here and saying, yeah, it was fine. Like, just nothing happened here. I mean, we got some we got the Ozpin confirmation. This is a big plot thing in that, we got the Ozpin confirmation that we'd been waiting on for a while. But, that's what we'd assumed. The menagerie stuff's incredibly boring to me. So I don't, and Weiss said we met, the spring mating. Great. So, I like episodes that, give me the stupid Adam scene last week if it means I get the incredible, Weiss fighting scene. Like, that's so much better than anything that happened in this episode to me. I just don't understand why the show moves so slowly that it needs episodes like this one. This is a big demonstration of the show's just glacial pace. And, it's still shocking we've been doing it for 2 seasons now, but it's still shocking that they're moving so slowly through the plot. And, it's not bad. Nothing they did here was terrible. I mean, it was, there's some mediocre writing. There was some pretty okay writing. But, overall, the main thing is it's just unexciting to me.
I think the biggest thing is that the impression I got was that the first 2 episodes, they raced through some stuff to get us to this point. And now I think we're going to get the really normal RWBY pace for the rest of the season. That's what I was getting the impression of, that it's going to be glacial like this for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I agree. One thing I did think, though, Sun was kind of an idiot in this episode. One move he did.
Yeah.
I got real smart Sun, because I really don't think that really smart thing he did, but
Sun was an idiot this episode as opposed to literally every single other time Sun has been on screen.
Like I said, though, how do you respond? Her response to dissent is to say shut up and attack. I mean, responses on your side, responses who are swinging, who are neutral, who are undecided. That's really going to swim to your side, Sun.
Yeah, what was I don't know what that scene was going for. Like, I guess Sun was just being stupid, but what's the purpose of him sneaking around her? And then I don't get it.
I think it was supposed to show that Sun, because I think the last time he saw Ilya, she hurt Blake.
Yeah, I got that. Sure. Yeah, it was a long time ago, and Giro was recapping, volume 4 to us in his speech, and I was like, I don't remember that. I guess, thanks for your recap, Giro, but that was Ilya you're talking about with the scroll, right? Like, that's what happened. Let's start on Blake with Menagerie, since we're already talking about it. I am just so done with Menagerie. I don't care about this White Fang drama. Oh no. Like, this scene was just really bad. I mean, it wasn't like, there was nothing specifically awful, I just was uninterested in it.
Mm-hmm. No, there was some awful stuff in that, again, Blake is not in control of this plot in any way. It's just Gira and,
it's like, okay, Blake, here's your speech. It's time. And then, nope, just, the Ilya interrupts with nonsense before we can actually hear Blake talk. Yeah.
And you didn't let her retort. I wanted to see Blake's response, but Sun got in the way.
Yeah.
It would have been more interesting if it was some kind of odd oral debate going on.
That's what I was saying. That's better. That's more smart. It's more logical how to try to get these fondnesses on your side, try to sway them, is to have a debate, not start a fight.
Yeah, I think it's a great point from Steve. I think it wasn't our intention here to speak to to convince the people of Menagerie to not side with the White Fang and to side with the Belladonnas and just generally not the terrorist group, right? Like, isn't that what we're trying for here? So why are we trying to attack Ilya? Like, why? It seems really dumb. And the episode didn't even address it. Like, it ended before the scene ended and we didn't go back to it.
It just seemed really pointless, all of it.
Yeah, so what the most interesting thing to me about this Blake plotline came not in this plotline, it came in actually, I think this is one of the most interesting pieces of writing that Miles and Carrie have done on the show in a while. We get a time frame reference in the Blake scene where they say, I think Gira in his exposition speech says, 2 months from now, classes will start. Haven, and that's when the attack the
Yes.
attack will happen. And then later in the in the Haven scene with Team Ranger, they said that 1 month from now classes will happen. There's there's something about a full moon, and so my impression is that they're intentionally telling us that we have desynced timelines here, and that the stuff that is happening with RWBY in Haven is in the future compared to where we are with Blake's timeline.
I'm really frustrated with this because you can do some interesting stuff with this kind of timeline stuff. Like Westworld is like the perfect example of a show where you have timelines that are just out of sync, and it's just really interesting what you can do with that. But this show, it's just like, I don't know. I don't really care because we're still going to be Menagerie for the next few episodes, and we're going to see all this plot that we don't care about. It's not actually pushing forward the plot. It's just a plot device to make it so that Blake has time to get to Menagerie, it feels like. Or not Menagerie, Haven.
Yeah. Steve, what did you think of these desync timelines?
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize till you just told me that.
I'm not 100% sure I'm right, but that was definitely the impression I got from the episode.
That's what I got as well.
I think that's probably a better way to do it instead of just having like a whole bunch of episodes. Maybe they'll be just on Blake before we get to anybody else. So you kind of keep our interest more easily than if we just have an episode by episode of this plot line without getting to other plots. I would be bored out of my mind. Yeah. So I'm thankful.
I think this leaves open two distinct possibilities. One is it would let us focus way more on Blake than on RWBY. So it's like, why are we spending so much time with Blake? Because we're catching up. So that's one option. The other option is that we could resolve Blake's conflict in a few episodes, and then Blake could randomly show up in Haven. Like that in Mistral. Like that is, that's something, like she could just teleport there because that we're a month ahead. So she spent the month traveling. We don't have to show that. She can just show up here. Like, so I'm really excited by that possibility because the biggest hurdle from the Team RWBY reunion was that Blake is not on the same continent as the others. But since she's only not on the same continent a month before now, she could be in the present, in the same continent, and we just don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she could just knock on the door like Oscar did. She's like, "I'm here."
Yeah, and I'd be like, "That would be a great decision. Please do that. Like, just have her show up. Like, just resolve this Menagerie conflict, and then the next scene, have her surprise show up at that house in Mistral."
Or do we even need to solve Menagerie conflict in Menagerie? Couldn't they just
I assume it'll spill into Mistral. Like, just get us to the boiling point there, and resolve whatever nonsense you've been doing for 2 seasons in Menagerie, and then just end it, and then immediately have Blake show up there. That'd be very satisfying, I think.
Yeah, it would be. I just want, just put Team RWBY together. That's all anybody wants at this point.
There's some people that it's not that they don't want that. There's some people that like the Ranger stuff that's happening, and but
it's because they like John way too much.
Yeah, well, John, at least John hasn't had that much there's a John moment in this episode, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
but I think the bigger thing though is that we've been speculating what is happening relative to what. Like, I think Delaney and I talked about this last season with the Team RWBY separation, like. How is any of this, is this happening at the same time, or some of us in the past or present? And so, like, I like that they addressed it here. That really satisfied me. Like, we had a specific narrative use. We referenced a future event, and we said how many months we are before that. So I think this leaves the door, even if it didn't necessarily do anything in this episode that, like, benefited anything, I think this is a really good step forward with actually, letting the audience know, what we're doing with all of these plotlines.
Yeah. Yeah, and this opens the door for Weiss and Yang to be on separate timelines too, which I'm not sure if I'm excited about that, but they could be.
Yes, definitely. As it is, based on what we've been seeing in the present, Yang and Weiss should be on a collision course immediately. So I think this actually leaves open the possibility that we're not gonna have them meet, even though it looks like they would. If like Yang is ahead of our pace or behind it, then maybe they wouldn't actually meet when we thought they would. Like, maybe that's because the big thing with like, oh, and do you think that they'll meet in Mistral and not in the Bandit tribe. Well, what you need to, like, we need to resolve what's happening with Yang, because Yang is going to Raven, not to Mistral. So one way to fix that, if our end game is to meet in Mistral, is to have, that been in the past, further in the past, and then, she's already resolved whatever with Raven and she's on her way.
Or it could just be like two timelines. Like Yang and RWBY are in the same time we're seeing, and Weiss and Blake are in another, so they never hit each other.
So you think, Blake's going to meet up with Yang first before she meets with the others, or you think you're going to save that for last?
I think it's going to be Freezer Burn and Blake and RWBY meet first, and then the other pairs.
Ladybug, Freezer Burn. And Ladybug. That's what we're on track for, is the Freezer Burn and Ladybug combinations before.
Yeah. Because I think it'd be better to just really save that, build that up a little bit for that reunion, because they have a lot of stuff to resolve. They have some catching up to do.
Steve wants that Bumblebee reunion. That's what Steve's hoping for. Yeah.
I want it to be big. I want it to be bigger, be like a grand scale anticipation,
grand emotional moment. Yeah, right. That's not happening. It's not happening. But
we can hope for bigger and gayer, but it's not going to happen.
Not happening. Come on, it's just not okay. So I don't know. Ilya in this Blake timeline and has her whole speech. We knew that, I guess, Blake's dad had been in charge of the White Fang, right? I didn't necessarily connect that he was like literally the supreme leader, like Sienna was, but yeah, I guess so. And, I don't know. I didn't take anything away at the end. It seemed like the people as of that scene were more on the side of Gira than Ilya, which was not what I was expecting.
I wasn't expecting that either, but Sun might have messed that up.
I have to wonder though, Ilya, she knew Adam was planning to overthrow Sienna, but did she know about the murder plot? Did she know he's going to take it that far? Because I don't think Adam is going to spill that with anybody, really. I thought he'd just keep that to himself until he did the deed. That's
a good point. I was upset at Ilya after learning that she had known about the Sienna takeover by Adam. But it's possible that her info was just that he'll like stage a coup and like imprison her or something, and that, it's possible that Adam is like making it seem less evil to his followers than it actually is, or something. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Ilya, and I'd love to get more into her character and see more of her, but I was not feeling her in this episode. She didn't do really anything interesting to me here.
But I do want to see Ilya Yang fight, maybe like save like Blake, like from her, like have a fight right there, like like I want to say like a love triangle fight or something.
fight Ilya and Yang fight over Blake. Yeah, again, it's Steve, not happening, but
these are all great ideas, but they're not happening.
These are good fanfics. Like, let's write these, but these are not happening in the show.
Also, can I say?
Well, you could use them for Chibi though, at least.
I don't know. Sure, RWBY Chibi. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah.
But can I say that I think that Adam is even more stupid than I thought he was, because they just announced to the world the battle plan 2 months ahead of before it was going to happen, and they're still going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine like somebody came onto the news and a superpower came on the news and said, we're going to be attacking some place in 2 months exactly. We know this for a fact. This is gonna happen, and nobody does anything. That's essentially what's happening in the world.
Maybe like what they did, like in Legend of Korra. Maybe they're just gonna do it maybe a little earlier than that. But I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
They could speed up the attack. It's a good point from Andy, because we see reporters on Gira's speech, and Gira blew up Adam's spot here. First of all, Adam should not be announcing his coup plans in like a company-wide email. Like that's
no.
Like, is Ilya really high up enough that she should be having this information? I assume not. Don't Adam's CCing too many people on the.
Just arrogant. He's just arrogant.
Adam's just CCing the entire large company on the. I'm going to murder our leader and then attack a major country. Like, no, bad move. This is should in theory being publicly reported now that Adam will be attacking Mistral. The problem is, Andy, that the CC lines are down. I don't know if anyone outside of Menagerie has access to that broadcast.
I guess, but I mean, it's still like we have 2 months. I feel like some news would percolate out that way.
You would think so, especially because Gira says he's sending his messenger. Yeah. So they should know. It is also possible. One other thing that came to mind is like that humans just are look down on the Faunuses so much they just won't care about like Faunus news or any information coming from them.
I thought there were some reporters in there that looked human, but again, some of the Faunuses are really subtle.
I thought they looked human too, but I think they probably just have subtle animal characteristics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope the show addresses that. Yeah. Like, this is the biggest result of Gira's speech was that he just announced Adam's plans. How will Adam / Mistral respond? The problem is that the leader of Haven does not care about this Adam attack
and that makes sense. It makes sense that Haven itself isn't doing anything, but there should be other.
You think Mistral has other government officials
that? Yeah. I have to wonder how you say Adam's dumb. I wonder how Salem feels about this because I'm a little pissed off about how dumb Adam is.
Yeah. Yeah. We got last episode that Adam and Salem are not, necessarily on the same page all the time. And that Salem may be trying to rein Adam in. But I think that it's possible. This seems more like a season 9 plot.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. But that Salem just gets fed up with Adam and is like, okay, this pawn is too annoying and ruining too many things. Well, I'll kill him. Like that seems like something that'll happen eventually.
Yeah, it does. It also seems like more and more likely that Adam's going to show up in the finale of this season.
Yeah, definitely. If our finale is the Haven attack, then yeah.
I'm hoping maybe this will be like in volume 2 for the other dude. Like he might just meet his end, but too wishful thinking.
If Adam just got ate by a Nevermore, I'd just be like, it would be the greatest thing ever. just have him get eaten by a Nevermore.
But you know what they said though? RWBY had the 3-volume trilogies, and this is sort of the second trilogy, volume 5. They followed the blueprint of volume 2. Then this would be Adam's death, the end of volume 5.
Okay, yeah, season 2 did have a big finale. Yeah, my response was going to be, this isn't the actual finale of the season. It's the 2/3 mark. But there's a lot of stuff happening in volume 2 of RWBY. Maybe we'll actually get stuff here. I do think it is in play that Adam dies at the end of the season. Like, I don't think the show has necessarily telegraphed him that much as a long-term character. Like, as much as the show is in love with him doing nonsensical big plot things, we still have not characterized him beyond that. And I wonder if the reason is because we know he's a short-term character.
And that'd be fine. I think if you listen to there's one song they haven't played in the show which is Armed and Ready, which if you listen to the actual lyrics, it sounds a lot like Yang fighting Adam. If you actually listen to the lyrics, it sounds like Yang getting pissed at Adam, which I'm not sure I want that fight again. I don't really necessarily want them in the same room ever again, but that could be what we're leading to at this finale.
Yeah, I mean, if Adam's dying, it should be by Yang's hand. Yeah. Or Blake's hand. And probably Blake's hand, but both of them.
I'm just being hesitant because I'm worried that she will lose again, and I'm like, please don't do
this
again.
You're worried about the other arm? That's what
yes.
No, I'm trying to think, could they do that? No, they're probably not doing that.
Adam will have some stupid edgelord comment about evening her out or something.
yeah, that's what would happen. I agree. Okay. So this is that's what I got for the Blake stuff. Yeah, we'll see next time Adam's on screen. I think probably not for a little bit. But okay, we haven't talked about potentially the most buzzed about aspect of this episode. It's not Ozpin being inside Oscar and Ozpin's immortal confirmation. No, that's not it. It is the Rose Garden RWBY and Oscar ship has set sail in this episode.
Really?
According to a lot of people, RWBY was very smiley at Oscar.
And giggly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just take that more of a little cute little brother. He's so cute. That's what I got. But
we would obviously prefer that, Steve. But
they're the same age and they're kind of the same height, so I can see why people get that.
Yeah, RWBY's 16, Oscar 14 at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Oscar was a little older than that.
Yeah, he's 14. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, the show heavily based on Avatar. Katara 2 years older than Aang. So just keep that in mind. That worries me, that parallel. But not that Oscar's not important enough to have an Aang parallel, obviously, like he's this new character.
Also, there's the whole thing with that he's actually Ozpin dating Ruby, which would be so creepy.
So the two sides I've seen, like I've seen the opinion, this episode is hinting at the future Rose Garden ship, and I've seen that it is evidence against it, and the fore side is that Ruby was just very smiley at him and seemed very happy with him. And there's no reason for her to be for someone she just met. And the anti side is that if this show had any sort of social awareness, Ozpin being inside Oscar would very much deter this, because that's like a big power dynamic imbalance. Ruby's former headmaster is half of this person. That cannot be her romantic partner.
I get the idea, though. Eventually, what they said, that eventually, as Oscar grows up, that their personality, Oscar and Ozpin, is sure going to merge, like a fusion, like they're just going to become a whole different like personality as they grow older. So Ozpin and Oscar probably would not exist. It'd be like Ruby and Sapphire becomes Garnet thing.
Right. That was my question. I didn't get that in terms of like what the dialogue was being said, but the implication that Ozpin was this way with every one of his reincarnations. Like we see Ozpin, the character that was in volumes 1, 2, and 3, as just one person. And, it's not clear to me whether we just were not seeing this other side of him, that he actually had two voices in his head, or it's what Steve is saying, and they actually would merge eventually. And this is just a temporary thing until, the Ozpin and Oscar reconcile. Steve, what did the episode, present that made you think that it was this merge theory?
Oh, that's kind of what Ozpin said. Like, he said, like, when his young days, that he kind of says, like, of Ozpin, that this is my latest, like, body. Mm-hmm. And so, the impression I got, though, that Ozpin, he kind of, like, was a different person when he was a little kid to what he was later on. And the thing I got, though, from Ozpin and Salem, I don't know about you guys, am I going to get a Vatu Rava type of connection?
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm feeling.
Oh, and can I get to my? This could be perfect time to mention my little.
Present your theory, Steve.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Okay, the fact that Ozpin like has all these different incarnations, I really believe that probably Salem is the same way. She has like a whole bunch of different incarnations as well, and the impression I'm getting here is that Salem's plan, her big plan, is. She is molding Cinder to be her next host body. And it's going to be like, I don't know if you guys saw like the original like Full Metal Alchemist anime, the main villain. She started out as this old lady and she had this young apprentice. And then eventually the old lady kind of died and the villain went into the apprentice's body. So I got an impression, though, that someday, not now, probably like volume 9, like you say, Dylan, that Salem is going to go inside Cinder, like take over, become her host body, and this, but only be a little different here. It's probably more darker. The Cinder that we know, for all intents and purposes, she'd be dead. She'd be gone forever, pretty much. And Salem would be inside Cinder's body, and kind of, I guess, in a way, Cinder would be like the new main villain again.
Okay. You were promising a good theory, Steve, and I think you delivered. I think this is a great theory. So, Steve says that, we're doing an, FMA with Salem eventually. Her next reincarnation is, Cinder, and that might make sense why she seems to be grooming Cinder so much.
And she's trying to get her all these power-ups. She's trying to get her, like, the full...
Maybe that's just a selfish thing, that she wants it for herself, yeah.
It's a very anime trope. I think a lot of shows have done that. Like, sorry to bring up an even worse show. I think Naruto did that during a couple of its seasons.
You take that back, an even worse show. You take that. Actually, don't take it back. But
yeah.
So my impression, this theory hinges on if Salem also reincarnates. My impression from this episode was that Salem does not reincarnate, only Ozpin does. Ozpin says that it is punishment, by the gods that he reincarnates because he did not defeat Salem, originally, thousands of years ago. So, to me, this implies that, he received he is specifically reincarnating, and Salem is, why would Salem have that same thing happen to her? Because she didn't, she's just the ultimate evil, and he was, like, my impression is less RWBY. I've definitely thought before that they were RWBY. I think Delaney and I have talked about this. Like, none of the Ozpin stuff here is a shocker. Like, we've been talking for like a year about, is Ozpin reincarnating into Oscar? Even before that was confirmed. Like, that was one of our big theories, was that, Ozpin's just reincarnating into Oscar. And, it makes sense with what we presented. And at first we thought that, okay, Ozpin's this ultimate source of good, Salem's this ultimate source of bad. But what I get from this episode is that since he's just reincarnating every time, he presents himself as like a normal person that was in a position to stop Salem and didn't, and is now just reincarnating until he stops Salem. Whereas Salem's the ultimate evil. Like, I think it's in play that Salem's ultimate evil and is just herself, and Ozpin's not. He's just, in a reincarnation loop until this curse is worn off.
So if I tell you though, if that is just Salem, just one body all this time, well, she looks good for her age. I gotta get for that.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's not. The evidence against your theory is that she doesn't look like a normal human. So Ozpin has looked like normal humans in the past, and maybe Salem maybe she reincarnates into Grimm, and why does she look like a Grimm if she's just doing the same reincarnation thing?
It could be less a curse and more that the difference is she's doing it. She wants to be reincarnated. She's taking over bodies, and Ozpin's just cursed and it just happens automatically. Like, she has to seek out a body.
Okay, yeah, I like that too, because I definitely don't think Salem's reincarnating. I don't think the show's given us any indication of that. But she still could physically move into a new body. Like, I think that is in play, given that she's thousands of years old.
Yeah, it could be like, it could just be like her, like, she doesn't age, she's immortal, but her post bodies, they have to follow the rules of aging and stuff. I've seen that on other stuff, not just anime. I've seen a lot of work of fiction. Like, you have these demons and devils, like they look for new host bodies, like every hundreds of years or so.
Yeah, I think that's in play. I really do like the Salem into Cinder theory, because it gives meaning to Cinder's existence and Salem's. Like why are they both these main why was Cinder our main villain at first? Why is she taking on these powers? Why is Salem so interested in her? Why is Salem not doing anything and just sitting in her castle? It's all explained if she's just waiting to eventually take over Cinder's body, and that's the final boss.
Yeah. And Salem could just be in a week period. Maybe she's ready to transfer to a new body and she's not that strong right now.
Yeah. I could say I could see the show doing this. I'll give this a 50-50.
But probably not in the near future. Probably a few volumes from now.
In a normal show, this would be in a season, but that means at least 3 seasons from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 50-50 is pretty good for a theory that's really far off.
Yeah. The thing about it far off with RWBY is this is something Salem, we have no explanation for Salem. So what even is a far off theory? Anything could be true. So
then we get a world of
RWBY's grandmother.
Right. RWBY could be descended from RWBY. Also, RWBY could be anything at this point either. So that also would.
But who knows what's going to happen with Team RWBY or RWBY?
Yeah. We'll talk. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, that great theory, Steve. And without getting into the Salem stuff, yeah, definitely a big thing that Ozpin is he's been reincarnating for thousands of years, immortal ? Ozpin confirmed, and yeah, the big change for me was that this Oscar situation seems like status quo and not a new thing. That's the way the episode presented it. So when Ozpin was in his former body, was he also, like I mentioned, was he also 2 souls in one body, or does it merge into one soul, or is there another explanation?
I was under the impression that they merge, and that Ozpin is cause he said, I've been a bunch of men, specifically men, by the way. I've been a bunch of men. And, I think that implies that he
might have been short for human, but Probably, I don't know, but it's, I think that's pretty screwed up if he merges with an existing person, human consciousness.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like killing a person.
But that's why, though, if the so-called if Osmond, the good guy, does something so messed up, I'm thinking Salem does something more messed up.
Okay,
he has to up the ante.
Yeah, that's good evidence too. Yeah, if Osmond really is doing this, this thing in like killing off a person's consciousness to merge with them. But by the way, he probably doesn't have a choice in the matter. It seems like he might just die if he had the choice, but it seems that he's like, it's a curse, so he keeps reincarnating. It's like it might be out of his control, but if that is the actual process and they are merging, then yeah, I think Salem we'd have to have Salem do something worse.
Yeah.
Back to the lead story though. You guys sidetracked me because we were talking about the OTP of all OTPs.
Oh my god.
RWBY and Oscar.
Worst pairing.
So, like I said, one hand, Ruby Smiley. Other hand, her thousands of year old former teacher. So there's a power imbalance in, Ruby dating, potentially dating Oscar. Like, that's not good. Yes, we see that he can go into Ozpin mode or Oscar mode here. So maybe, when they're together, he's only in Oscar mode. Another thing is if Steve said and they do merge, would that help the situation? Would that eliminate this power imbalance if he becomes?
Oh, that would make it so much worse.
It would make it worse, right? Because then it's always Ozpin. Like, it's not the exact, like, he says he retains his memories. He says Oscar will eventually, remember his Ozpin's muscle memory. So, like, it seems like Ozpin maintains at least a large, part of himself. And it is possible, by the way, that we're talking about, like, Oscar's consciousness being killed off. It is possible, it's probably more likely that they would merge consciousnesses. Like, Oscar would still be largely present. It's just hard to, like, wrap your head around that still being the same person, I think.
Yeah, it's like Oscar versus how many other people Ozpin's been.
Yeah, I mean, the Avatar comparison is like, it's like, Ozpin's Rava and then, Oscar is like Roku, like,
But it's if Rava actually was like the front seat driver.
Yeah, and I guess the Avatar state is, I guess that's what Oscar was doing in this episode.
Yeah.
Like giving the reincarnating thing control. Yeah, so the fact that Oscar, if they do merge to a larger extent and Ozpin's always there, I don't really see how the show can present that in an at all not screwed up way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, were you guys, obviously we hate this ship. So, but were you feeling the vibes, or could you just tell like, oh, people will be shipping this? Or was it more about?
I saw it, Dylan. I totally saw the smile, and I'm like, either Carrie and Miles are pointing us towards it, but definitely other people in the fandom are be like, yes, it's happening.
I didn't notice, maybe because I was just thinking of other stuff, like
more important things. What could be more important?
Like Weiss. What's going on with Weiss?
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Weiss yet. Yeah,
and also like guess the White Fine stuff too, I guess. But and this is probably also when I came up with that little theory in my head about Salem and Cinder.
Yeah, so Steve focused on more important things in that scene, but the fandom is not, and we're very on to. I will say the big counter evidence for me is Ruby is not the only one being smiley about Oscar. Nora is equally as smiley and even goes further and calls him like a cute boy. So,
but Nora's also like 18, right?
Yep.
Nora's even older than Ruby. Yeah. So he could, yeah. So I guess it's more of just a aw type thing with her, which it should be with Ruby too. It should be with that.
But I thought Nora definitely seemed to think of Oscar cute like a puppy dog or a baby.
And I think that's what Ruby's doing too. Like, what are we why is this, why are you just instantly interpreting Ruby's reaction as differently, people? Like, it's like, this cute kid. Like, that's what she's doing. Come on.
I hope.
I don't think the show's I don't know. It's tough because this is the type of thing that they would do, but
it 100% is something they would do. And then we were still worried about her and John. So now we have two people to watch out for, right? For her being paired with.
Yeah. It's like these things are so far down on what we would want with Ruby. Like, number one, like, have Ruby have a girlfriend, specifically Weiss. Number two, have Ruby be asexual and just not have, just be her, continue to be herself and not be interested in sex or potentially also aromantic. And then number 1,000 is put RWBY with John or Oscar. Like, why?
Which one's worse?
Oscar? No, John.
I think John's worse. Yeah. At least they are both cute. Like, at least there's that. Like, it's just John.
Well,
John,
Oscar
no. I'm just so.
Well, Oscar has a clean slate, though. He's kind of a newer character.
Oscar's fine. Oscar's a perfectly nice kid.
I'm just saying. I'm saying he's he has a clean slate.
He's a clean slate. He's just. I agree, Steve. John is so much worse. That's why I'm at least an iota of okay with the Rose Garden, because it means we're not doing, I don't even, Lancaster, is that their ship name? It's not even, okay, so that's the only reason why. But anyway, I think it is possible this new Aspen stuff does mean we're not doing the Rose Garden. I think let's see what we do next, because it's so creepy that Aspen's in there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's super, super creepy.
Yeah.
And that's like if he was just a normal old man, but he's like 1,000-year-old man.
Yeah. Thousands, if not millions. Like, who even knows, right? So,
who knows? Yeah. I'm just giving a number.
Yeah, so
I'm guessing maybe in the tens of thousands.
Yeah. The RWBY, I've always gotten the impression from the World of Remnants that the RWBY world is like, they're newer on the RWBY world than we are on Earth. Like, I don't know if that's founded on anything, but I've always gotten that they're like more raw. Like, relative to...
I understand that opinion. I understand what you're saying. I can see where you get that idea. I'm not sure where I stand, and I'm not sure if I even care, but...
It doesn't matter.
That makes sense.
Anyway, okay, so, and then, we say that, Osmond says that, he doesn't fully trust Lionheart based on what he said, which I'm very happy that they did, because it didn't really make any sense to me that we would just be like tricked by Lionheart here. Like, there's got to be some safety valve in place, and Osmond was like, yeah, he's disobeying my orders. So, okay, good.
They didn't drop the idiot ball.
Yeah,
they did
I think this made logical sense, yeah. And then Crow's going to go gather huntsmen, and Osmond is going to train everyone. RWBY doesn't have hand-to-hand combat, and John has not unlocked his semblance yet. So, confirmed, John's semblance has not been in the show. I'm telling you, delete your YouTube videos about John's semblance being unlocked already. Just I don't care if they have hundreds of thousands of views. Just delete them. They're wrong. Just get out of here.
I saw a theory that made a lot of sense, and I don't like it. It's that because they had a comment that we've seen John's semblance before, and the theory is that he has polarity like Pyrrha. And I'd be like, please no, don't give him polarity.
I don't know if I care what John's semblance is.
I don't care, but it's like, it feels insulting. Like, Pyrrha was such a great...
The only thing I like about that is it brings Pyrrha's presence back to the show.
Yeah. That'd be, okay, yes, that'd be cool.
It has become too much power now for the males. This is supposed to be a girl power show.
Steve giving the synopsis of our criticisms of RWBY in one sentence. Yes, I agree. I agree, Steve.
And look at us. Look at us. And the point, though, is, look at us. We're able to have three guys here host this thing, because I know you, Dylan, like with your Mystic Cons, you purposely want female perspective. I feel the same way with Witch Academia. But here, RWBY, it just shows you how less girls dependent it is that we can do it.
Right. It's less of a priority for me. I'd still prefer to have a female co-host. Delaney and Haley are just unavailable at this time, but it was, it's much less important than a show that's actually a female oriented show, because RWBY is not anymore. Like, it's just not.
I saw a funny article about how this show is like really changing Rooster Teeth's audience, and I'm like, is it? It feels like it's.
I don't buy that. Yeah, by the way, if like, in case we're debating whether RWBY's like a female, like, audience intended show, I'll chime in with the statistics I have. Our RWBY podcasts are our most male, audience of all of our shows. By far.
Really?
So.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I 100% believe that.
Probably.
So I have the stats to back this up. Like, it's mostly guys watching this show by a lot.
Given the other shows we cover, that's probably not too far off.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense considering we specifically cover female-oriented shows. But this show has female leads, and it's just, yeah, it's anyway. We've talked about this a million times. It's not.
Also, John's upgrade of semblance seems like a lot more than RWBY's hand-to-hand combat. Like, that's another thing.
Right, like, why does RWBY need to learn hand-to-hand combat? She just have her have Crescent Rose at all times and just keep a backup on hand. Like why does this matter? Like, John's semblance, yeah, let's make John not suck and have him be able to actually fight. That's good. I agree, Osmond, but why we gotta call RWBY out? Like, who cares?
RWBY's great. RWBY, every fight, she has done something. the same could not be said of John, like at all.
And no, they don't seem to care about Ren and Nora. Like,
yeah, they
like,
didn't even mention Ren and Nora. Yeah, they're not important anymore. They had their arc last season. We're done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Andy, are you enthused by the prospect of Ozpin as Oscar training Ruby and John scenes coming up in the next few episodes?
Not really. I'm kind of like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of hope there's a time skip. I can't believe I'm saying that. I just want, can it just be the end of the month, the next episode? That's all I really want. I really don't care about
let's yada yada through this training. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, you just speed by and have a kick butt training montage song.
Yeah, I'd be fine with the montage. Yeah, put a song. Yeah, put a good song behind it. But let's not spend this. Let's not have this be this plot's storyline for the focus for multiple episodes.
I'd be fine with it if like Yang, Weiss, and Blake somehow get in the training situation, and then we're just like training montage. All of them, and then
okay, that would be cool. Yeah, if we cut between multiple storylines. But what's
with Raven, and stuff
like that. Yeah, well, I don't know if they'll get along to train, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, something like that.
But what they're actually going to do is have training be exclusively what we see out of Mistral for 3 episodes, and it will have cute moments between Ruby and Oscar while they're training.
And the actual training part of the training will focus on John.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be Ruby flirting with Oscar, and then John doing all the fighting stuff. That's what'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, the bright side, if we do like our heroes just do nothing but training, it probably give more time to give storylines for the villain side. That probably get most of the plot going.
Yeah, which is more interesting.
Training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer to see Salem stuff at this point over Team Ranger stuff. I know not everyone agrees. A lot of people like the Ranger dynamic, but I do think they have a good dynamic, but we need to do interesting things with them in order for it to be successful. I'm judging before we've seen it. Maybe this training will be great, but this seems like not what I'm looking for from Volume 5.
Also, the Ranger dynamic kind of just pushes Ruby's personality to the background, and I don't like that.
I agree with that.
Like they're a great dynamic. It's great if it wasn't Ruby. If Ruby wasn't one of the characters.
The reason that we like the Ranger dynamic is because they've been successful in propelling John, Ren, and Nora to the forefront more than they were originally in the show. And that's good. But Ruby is our main character, and she is not even the most important presence on Team Ranger. No. And I think just a lot of people just don't care about Ruby, which is stupid.
She hasn't been the main character for a couple of seasons, it seems like.
Yeah, I think you'd still probably call her the main character because like the show doesn't focus on anyone else specifically that much. Like she still did have, like in the finale last season, she still is the main presence, not John. But a lot of the times they lose track of that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we got to talk about Weiss, the Weiss stuff, which is the least interesting part. But the biggest thing with Weiss is meeting our spring maiden Vernal. Or Vernal. It's spelled like Vernal, but the guard calls her Vernal. I think
this is the most obvious name for a spring maiden ever, and it's like you couldn't think of something more clever than Vernal. Like really, this is the best you could come up with.
Yeah, it's it's what was she? Fall? What was the Fall maiden? She is. Amber, yeah. Okay, that's better. Amber colors and fall. That's a better name.
That's a better name. But Vernal, like as in the equinox, it's like we get it. Spring.
I wonder which summer is going to be called because summer is a common name.
Yeah, you could just call her sun. Yeah, I mean we already have winter, so
yeah. I'd be fine with the real reveal that Winter is actually the Winter Maiden. Like I'd be 100% okay with that.
Yeah,
and I don't have to wonder though. This spring maiden, what history does she have with this Sneer family? Like, did they screw her over at one point? Because it seems he really resents that family.
It seems like the Schnees have messed with everybody in the world. Like anybody could say that the Schnees messed with them.
And knowing Weiss's dad, I find it very easy to believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't necessarily get the impression that Vernal was mad at the Schnees specifically from this. I think that she's just like, okay, we'll sell you off. This did confirm that Vernal is okay, so first of all, this isn't confirmed that she's the Spring Maiden yet. Yeah. It's a interesting character design, and we know the Spring Maiden's in that tribe. So probably this is the Spring Maiden, but it's not like the episode has said that yet. And, if she is, this confirmed that she is not like a prisoner of, Raven. She is just also a leader of the Raven tribe. Which is something we'd been speculating, but I do think that's interesting.
But I don't think it would be in Raven's character just to have like someone be a prisoner against their will. What does she have to gain for that? So that's not really a surprise to me. I always suspected. I always thought, the Spring Maiden, is she with that tribe? She's part of the tribe. She's not like some prisoner or something.
Yeah. So I do think it makes sense with what we've been presented. What did we think of her? What are our first impressions of Vernal?
I liked her design, and I liked how smug she was. I don't like that she had Weiss's sword, but I think that it was done. I think the animation of her like waving Weiss's sword in front of her was actually pretty well done. Like the idea of it, what it was getting across, just how she was kind of lording over Weiss. And but I mean, I don't think we've seen enough for her to really say that she's great or whatever. But she was interesting. I'm intrigued by her.
Are you intrigued, Steve?
I'm a little intrigued. She definitely has what I thought, given the opening we saw in the opening, has spunk. She has a lot of moxie.
Spunk.
I'm trying the best here not to swear, okay? But she's got moxie, and she's not going to be easy to get her to come with us. We might actually have to take her prisoner to get her to come with us.
Yeah. She seems very integrated into the Bronwyn tribe. Yeah. So I think she's definitely a cool character to introduce. She seems mostly generic so far, but I hope that there's some interesting depth to her. I also 100% think that the show is gonna make her the gay character, because they've been promising that, and they're going to reinforce stereotypes by like having the only gay person on the show be Vernal. So I think everyone's kind of anticipating that, and it's torn because it'd be cool if she liked girls, but this is somewhat of a problematic depiction to have this be the only gay person in your show.
Yeah.
Wondered though, is Salem planning to kill her like did Amber? Like it seems like that. Yeah, she's a dead person walking if things go by this pattern, which would be a shame. So far,
right? Was Amber dead, or was she just was she in the machine? I don't even remember.
No, Amber's dead. Amber's dead because that's why Cinder is the maiden now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to kill them to take the power. That's right. If Salem's succeeding in getting Cinder this next power, if that's true, which I don't think we've again confirmed yet that we want Cinder to take on all the powers. But I definitely think that we're doing an Avatar thing with Cinder. Then she would need to kill, Vernal, which I do think will happen because it's too early to have Salem fail.
So if that's our gay character, she's about to die.
Oh, so Steve's point is, and we're fridging her. So that's, oh my god. Yeah. Good point, Steve. This is probably a character that's dying this season or next season, and not the person you want to make the gay character is the one who's dying. So, oh boy.
I'd also like to say that I think this is like the first scene that's dominantly like two women talking in this entire season.
I believe it is the first. And I was like, I had that thought. I'm like, oh wow, the season's passing the Bechdel test. But then it was mostly about Weiss's dad. Yeah. So not really. I mean, it's it was kind of a pass in the beginning of that scene. I really enjoyed Vernal taunting Weiss, and I think that they would be good friends in other circumstances. Is my take.
So if they really wanted good money, a good like payday, they should, instead of Weiss, you probably get more for Whitley, probably because he's the favorite. So.
Yeah, I agree. Jocks will pay more for Whitley than Weiss.
100%.
It seems like Weiss, but as we see at the end of the episode, it seems like Weiss is breaking out before any of that can happen. She's still, even despite being handcuffed and stuff, she summons her mini knight.
That knight was so adorable.
And gets a giant grin on her face. To end the episode. So yay, Weiss breaking out.
Yeah.
I was reading something, and I guess I forgot this about Weiss. She can summon things that she's defeated. Like,
Yes.
I thought she just summoned knights, but I remembered that she summoned, like, a Borgrim. So she could theoretically summon these Lancers we fought last episode, which could be why she fought them last episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, she just
there
had
could
to
be
fight
some
them off
plot
too.
involved.
But yeah, she does get, as from what we're aware of, Weiss can only summon things she's killed. And, maybe she has that in mind with killing the Lancer Grim. Then the Knight is she defeated that in the white trailer. So that's why she always brings it up, and she summoned the Borgrim, yeah. So, we should keep that in mind. Maybe we'll see the Lancers again, which I think would be cool because I really like them.
I think though the White's escape is going to be timed with Yang arrives there.
They're going to miss each other. They're totally going to just walk past each other.
Oh man, Angie, you're making me depressed. Yeah. But that makes most logical sense in the storyline. Like White's trying to escape, but it kind of goes south just a bit, and that's when Yang shows up to at least get a helping hand to the escape. But
I think probably we're doing what, as much as I'm pessimistic, I think probably we're doing what Steve is saying. But again, have to consider that these timelines are not in sync. So it's possible that they're not even in the same time here.
This actually gives me more, I think this gives more credence that they aren't synced, because it doesn't really make sense to me story-wise why you'd have Weiss escape and then run into Yang. I think it would make more sense for Yang to show up and see Raven has captured Weiss, but I don't know. Maybe there's something planned.
I think other media has definitely done the run into someone while they're escaping thing. It's, I don't know, it moves things along. It puts, it reunites. One thing that the show doesn't want to do is have any sort of emotional moments between our four leads. And one way to do that, like, oh, Weiss and Yang reunite, they'll hug each other and stuff. No, not if they're in the heat of battle, so they can just fight.
They'll just fight next to each
so
other.
I think that would be appealing for some reason to the show's writers, is to have them reunite fighting. Yeah.
In a way, though, that's something you see a lot of male characters do in media, though. That's
it's a very male thing. Yeah, it's like, come on, join the fight. Yeah, so I think they could definitely do that. So we'll have Weiss breaking out hopefully next episode, and I don't know, maybe she'll meet. Interested to see who's the first person she meets when she breaks out. Is it Vernal? Is it Raven? Is it Yang? I think all are in play here.
I think she could, my envisionment of what could happen in this breakout is that she overhears some important conversation and then runs into Yang.
Yeah, that could happen too. She could overhear something about the Spring Maiden there. That might make sense. So, because
we, the audience, don't know that she's the Spring Maiden yet.
Right. So we do need to learn that. Although, to be fair, there's no reason why she would. I don't think there's been a hint. The show has hinted at that. It's just we assume. Because
her name's Vernal.
Her name's Vernal. Even before that, though, in the credits, we saw she's in the credits and she has an important looking design.
And she's specifically facing off against Cinder in the opening credits too.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so there's a lot of promising things going in next episode. This episode was too slow, but maybe it was just a break. And next episode we'll have, it is in play. Weiss running into Yang. That could happen next episode. I don't think it will, but it could.
We'll probably have a break next week.
We're also on World of Remnant Watch. Yeah, so we'll see about that. We won't know until Friday, but
it's so frustrating. I just want to know now. Can't they just tell us now whether it's going to be World of Remnant or not?
I think they don't know now, but I think they just work in these last minute and then decide, which is not, they shouldn't do that, but whatever. Andy, Steve, any other thoughts from this episode that we didn't talk about?
Not really. I'm just can't wait to hopefully see Weiss break out, and let's see her do some more fighting. Let's see what she's learned from Winter. If those shorts are canon, I don't know if they are, but I hopefully though we get maybe find out maybe that they're wrong. Maybe I wonder though if Crow, it might be our character. Him and Winter might somehow, maybe not to expect to be part of Crow's little hunter crew. Maybe not that he's planning it, but maybe just by some coincidence, by some circumstances that happens, and he is stuck with her or something.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how that Crow recruiting Huntsman plotline will, if that will be a background thing or whether we'll actually see that and that'll be important. That I'm not sure about. Yeah. Andy, final thoughts here.
You brought up something I was thinking about. Sorry, about Crow being another main plot line, another man leading a plot line. That's great. But on a less that note, Mercury and Emerald supposedly are showing up this season at some point, and it feels like it's going to happen sooner rather than later at this point with how things are going.
Right.
It feels like they're going to run into the band. We're going to run into them at the bandit camp in some manner, and so that could be the next big fight we see. And I don't know. I'm ready for a cool fight. I'm ready for a cool fight between huntsmen and huntresses. Essentially, we haven't had that in a while.
You know what I find weird doing the opening, unless maybe she went very fast in the opening, but we see Mercury in the opening, but I don't see Emerald though, unless she's like really, really fast seeing.
I don't think she was in the opening, but I'm just assuming because whenever we see Mercury, Emerald's usually with him.
Yeah. So I forgot about that last episode. We announced that we're getting the band back together. Cinder's gonna get the two of them, and we're gonna go to the bandit camp. So I do hope that happens soon. It did seem like that had to wait for something else to happen. Like are they going with Watts, and Watts needed to repair Tyrion's tail first.
Tyrion's tail. Yeah. Oh my god! I'm ready for Robotail season 8. Let's see it. Like
Robotail's happening soon. Yeah, that's.
You think that's this season?
Could be. I don't know if we're gonna have a big fight scene with Tyrion again so soon, but maybe off screen, maybe just we briefly see it. I don't know. So yeah, I'm interested to see the sequence of the Team Salem events as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting possibilities at play. As much as this episode was, maybe underwhelming in moving the plot along as much as the previous two, I still think there is hope for, cause it's not just that the first two episodes were faster paced that made us more hopeful that the season would be better. It was that they're faster paced, and we'd seen in interviews that they're saying, we know we didn't do it right last season, we will make it faster paced. So they've said that, and so I assume they will. So hopefully this is just a blip on the radar, and even as such, it's still a fine episode. It's whatever.
Yeah. No Adam in it, so
no Adam. That's any episode without Adam is good in our books. There you go.
Immediately a check mark on the list of what makes a good RWBY episode.
Yeah,
Adam.
It should be noted, we still got an hour discussion out of this somehow. Did not expect that, but
I did not expect that either.
Me neither. I thought this would be like a quick podcast here.
Too many theories from Steve. Too many theories.
Well, I have a pretty good theory though. That whole Salem Cinder.
That might be the highlight. Yeah, it's a very good theory. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes to pass. But
can't wait to discuss that in the Discord.
Yeah. Join us at the Discord to weigh in on that theory from Steve at overlyanimated.com/Discord. You can also comment overlyanimated.com or comment on YouTube. Whether you agree with Steve's theory. I was going to say that the thing I'm looking forward to most next episode is our Rose Garden moments, of course. So.
Oh, God. I'm interested in them making the least interesting choices plot-wise. I'm ready for it.
I think that's going to be my new troll opinion is shipping Rose Garden. I think I'm going to try that out.
You didn't even troll ship Lancaster.
I can't do that one, but this one is at least I could try this one. Well, it'll be more funny if Delaney's on, and I start randomly doing that. So,
Delaney definitely won't listen.
Yeah, she won't. So we'll try. Yeah, so we'll keep that a secret, guys. We'll try that out with Delaney next week. Okay.
Definitely.
So find us overlyanimated.com. Make sure you subscribe on either iTunes or YouTube to not miss any of our future RWBY podcasts. Definitely join the discussion at Discord. Find a link at overlyanimated.com or comment anywhere you're listening. If you're listening on YouTube, please thumbs up, give us a subscribe. It's typical YouTube nonsense, but a lot of RWBY fans on YouTube. RWBY video is very popular there. Overlyanimated.com, and consider supporting us at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast. It's Andy, aka Buzz Lightyear. I don't know if that's happened. The patron of the podcast has been a person on the podcast. So that's.
I think it almost happened where I was hosting and
that's not allowed. That's not allowed. But
I changed.
Okay, but Andy, and thanks to our patron executive producers John and Steve, Alex, also and Andy, but double Andy and Steve, and so there you go. Patreon.com/overlyanimated. Very much appreciate any support there. So upcoming podcasts at Overly Animated. We recently, we're really far into Miraculous Ladybug. The new season's airing, season 2 of Miraculous Ladybug. Find podcasts about that. Delaney and I did a recap podcast of Unikitty, new Cartoon Network show. So if you want to check that out, and a Mysticon's coverage coming, soon as well.
Mysticon.
So, all of that, and potentially a bunch of other stuff as well, overlyanimated.com. So check all that there, and thank you guys very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.